This is a story from Raw Story, and it's titled Urbanites Can Be Divided into 6 Different Tribes to Help Make Cities Fit for All. So, there is a lot of discussion about how people are being moved into urban centers and how others are being moved out of urban centers due to gentrification and due to the increases in the cost of living, but it's not adjusting with an increase in income. And so what has been done is they've basically used algorithms to determine how effective a group of people can be able to survive in the city. So this article starts off saying whether tapping a contactless card to take the subway, buying a gift for a loved one, or using a smartphone to find the way home, your everyday actions leave behind breadcrumbs of digital information. When these traces are collected and analyzed en masse, they can then help urban planners to pick up on daily rhythms of the life of a city and uncover trends about the people who live there. In a recent study, we developed a new mathematical framework which extracts various spending habits or lifestyles from the digital traces left by credit cards and mobile phone data in Mexico City. We discovered that purchase habits not only related to socio-demographic characteristics such as age, gender, income, and mobility, they also related to the places people visit and the people they call. They've also broken it down by how frequently people do these things. Over the past decade, smartphone data has helped researchers to understand the plan cities. For example, location data is used in transport planning to identify which stations and routes are busiest at different times of the day. For example, scientists have found that people don't necessarily take the optimal route to their destination. Instead, they have a favorite route for trips they perform routinely and a few alternative routes which they take less frequently. And that's true, especially if you have a commute that's longer than 30 minutes in the morning, for instance. Meanwhile, credit card data and spending behavior have been used from the retail companies to build a profile of consumers based on their set of purchases. This is illustrated by the parable of the beer and nappies. Okay, I don't know what that means, but okay, we'll keep going. As it turns out, on Friday evenings, young men who buy nappies also have a predisposition to buy beer. This group became parents. I don't know what nappies are. What the heck is a nappy? A napkin? All right. I don't know what that means. This must be a British person or something. Okay. Can someone please tell me what a dang nappy is? Y'all tell me in the comment section. Moving on. When analyzed across the years, these digital traces can help scientists and governments to understand at an unprecedented scale how societies in different parts of the world cope with major events, such as recessions or major policy changes. Then they broke it down into 6 tribes. From the detected spending habits, we identified 6 groups or tribes while protecting people's privacy by aggregating the data and ensuring they were anonymous. Each of these groups has a core purchase, which is the most frequent of their spending activities, indicated by the yellow arrows in the figure below. So the user density is done on this scale, this color coordinated scale, 100% being yellow down to 50% orange, 20% is more reddish orange, and 10% is like a light purple, light red color. And so the commuter spends more on tolls and food and access to keep them on the road. That would include more food, traveling, being able to get place to place very quickly, shopping on their way home, on their way to work, gas on their way home, on their way to work. Less frequently would be communicating with one another because they're focusing on commuting. Less likely to be communicating with other people as well because they're just trying to get from point A to point B. That's the commuter. People who are more household likely in the, which is number 2, the green square. They have, of course, food. There's shopping there, which is very frequent. There's gas, which is less frequent than a commuter. There's travel, which is about the same as a commuter, but it's less travel that is occurring due to commuting. It's travel to get different places, obviously. But they also have some things where it shows people, giving gifts, people doing things outside, as indicated by the fish there. They may buy outside of their normal routine. They might go outside their normal routine. People who are young, they're commuting a lot, they're shopping a lot, they're on the internet a lot, and they are watching television a lot. So tech is very important for them. High-tech people in the pink square are communicating a lot. They don't do much commuting because they're at home, it seems, more often. They may purchase fuel. They may not. It's not as important to them. Money is extremely important. Food is important. And communications or internet is important for them. The average person does a lot of these different things. Fast food is important for them. Shopping is important. Going out to eat. They don't really take tolls as much. And then the last person is the dinner out, the person that dines out a lot. So their most important thing is the food and gas or transportation. So the 6 lifestyles have been broken down. They say the commuter tribe is mainly made up of adult men who live far away from the city center. They commute by car, they pay tolls, they earn above average incomes and enjoy eating at restaurants. Middle-aged women dominate the household tribe, tend to have the least expenditure and mobility. Their core transaction is grocery shopping. They have lower incomes and live in the suburbs. On average, members of this group receive more phone calls from the other tribes. Wow, those are the mothers. These are mothers who are almost at retirement or retired. They probably worry about their children who are far away, that live in a city. They probably worry about their other family members, older relatives, things like that. Young people are split between 2 tribes. You have the young, as you saw here, who are under 30 years old, living in the city center, mainly use taxis as a means of transportation and have an average income. The second group is the high-tech, slightly older, with an average of 35 years old. Their core transactions are on technology such as smartphones and computers. They could be young professionals, since they have higher than average expenditure, a wide range of contacts in their mobile phones, and do most of their activities downtown. So the young people and the high-tech people, young is number 3 and high-tech is number 4. They're pretty similar in what they do. So there's not much difference in that age group, the 30 to 35. Then they come down. The dinner out group lives close to the city center, so they don't do much driving. Their core transactions are restaurants. They also have more contacts in their social network than average. We also created an average group from a random sample of citizens to use as a benchmark against which we could compare the spending habits and socio-demographic information of the other tribes. So helping the urban challenges. By generating useful information from these digital traces, we hope to help cities to embrace the digital revolution and resolve important urban issues such as how to make cities more inclusive. Well, you make them inclusive by reducing how much it costs to be in the city. I'm tired of going downtown and having to pay $30 to park and then pay another $40 to $50 to go to a restaurant. So since I don't want to do that, I'm not going to. I will keep my ass at home and cook food on my own. Or I will cook the food and take it to the beach. Okay? Like, I'll cook the food, pack it up, and we go to the beach. And that's how we do it. Okay? I'm not about to go spend $30 for parking. Nowadays, since LeBron is coming, and, with the Lakers, the parking that used to be $30 is going to be $60 and up in that area, around the Staples Center. And anyone who lives in LA, you already know what it's about. So there are all kinds of ways to save money because the cost of living is not going to go down. It's only going to keep going up or stay the same. And it's not feasible for an urban city to remain at one threshold. That threshold keeps moving. For example, the commuter tribe may be hit hardest by fuel prices that increase, and that may affect their spending and commuting. The creation of inexpensive and efficient public transport systems may be an important investment in urban areas, especially those where low-income residential areas and job opportunities are not in proximity. And to help the household tribe, we can consider introducing nutrition subsidies, programs to incentivize low-cost grocery stores in areas where it's difficult to find affordable, good quality food. Then they go on and say, what's more, our study shows that it's possible to gather information about daily mobility, social contacts, and lifestyles by collecting the data that people already produce, rather than undertaking surveys which are expensive, time-consuming, and very limited in sample size. This kind of analysis can help city authorities make informed decisions based on data about unprecedented number of people and lead to more tailored policy to the specific needs of different groups and lifestyles. Based on what I understand, and I don't know too much about economics, but what I see happening when it comes to gentrification is these cities are getting emptied out. If you don't have the money, if you can't afford to live in these cities, you can't afford to even leave these cities, you are going to not make it. I'll say it that way. They don't care if you don't make it. So it is important to see how money is being spent and how the level of income affects your behavior. It affects where people live. It affects what they decide to do. A solution to it is, one, budgeting your money, knowing how much money you have, knowing how much money is coming in and going out. It's common sense. If you know that you are supposed to spend X amount of dollars on your living expenses every month, you don't want to go above that. You want to make sure that you have quality living area, but you're not going way out of your budget to do that. A lot of us have to face facts and realize that we are probably going to have to acquire more skills, and acquiring more skills means that you can also acquire more money. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to live in an urban area where it's too expensive. It's more important to me, in my opinion, to save your money, to live in a place that's a little less expensive, where you can adjust for transportation cost and, still live in a good area that's safe, that accommodates you appropriately, based on your family number, your lifestyle. If you want to live near the beach, or you want to live in a valley, or you want to live in different areas, knowing where you're living, especially here in LA, for instance. I use LA as an example. We have different weather patterns within LA County. You can be in San Fernando Valley and it's 101 degrees, blazing hot, dry, you can barely breathe, high pollution rate. You can be in South Bay at the same time and it's like 80 degrees, cool, breezy. Well, not cool, but the air is kind of cool, sunny, breezy, it's tolerable. You're not dying from heat. And it's much cheaper. It can be cheaper. Or you can be in an area in South Bay where the cost of living is the same as in San Fernando Valley, but you may work in Culver City. So Culver City is about equidistant between the valley and South Bay. It's about similar distance. It's about right in the middle. And however, you may need to use your air conditioner more if you live in the valley. So that's cost on utilities. You may not ever have to use your air conditioner in South Bay. You might have to use it like 3 days out of the year. So there's where you're saving money on that. But you may spend a little bit more money on gas getting to Culver City where you work from South Bay, depending on what time you leave in the morning. So all of that has something to do with, that's just an example. The way I would say to do it is to sit down and you have to plan out your budget months in advance. You can't wait until the cost of living goes up, until your landlord tells you, or, your taxes go up, your tax bracket goes up. You have to have that money stashed away and saved, just in case something does happen. That would be what I would call a living expenses emergency. where things go up. You're seeing stores close down. I just did a video about a month ago about Marie Callender, restaurant closing on Wilshire. They can't afford their rent. That's why they closed. There was another business, a few other businesses that have closed down because they can't afford their rent. When your rent goes for a business goes from $1,600 to $5,300 in a matter of months, you can't afford that. That's more than twice the rent, so it's important to budget, and it's important to know what your long-term goals are. I know that True Royal Family did a video recently about money. She has it on her True Royal channel, I believe. Just go check out her channel and you'll see that they had a hangout about budgeting your money. But I will let you all tell me what you think about this article in the description box. In the comment section. I'll leave this article link in the description box, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.